So when we want to design reactors, we need to be able to find information on our rate expression. So what is the K value? What is the temperature dependence of my rate? What is the rate order? How does it depend on my concentration in my reactors? So either I must rely on data published by other researchers, or I must measure the data myself. And I must take cognizance of in which regime did the researcher operate when they measured the data. So for instance, this researcher measured data and he showed that as he changes the particle diameter, he observes a change. This is a form of conversion. He observes a change in the rate as he changes the particle diameter. So he must prove that he now have a further run with an even smaller diameter and another smaller diameter, so that the rate doesn't change anymore with particle diameter, to prove that the rate that he's measuring is actually the intrinsic reaction rate. So this researcher also has got different particle diameters. You can go and do more reading up on their work if you click the links to ResearchGate where they publish these data. This data. This researcher showed that even if he varied the particle diameter, he still measured the same rate. So he's proven that his eta value is equal to 1. Many researchers don't go through the trouble of doing 56 experiments where you have to vary the particle diameter. Rather, they use the Weiss-Prater parameter to say, listen, I have an observed rate, I've got the diffusivity, my Weiss-Prater parameter that I calculate is 0.001, and I am not going to bother with all these extra experiments. Or they can actually say, I published the rate, but be careful, it is an apparent rate. It is for this particle and this particle only. So if you buy a catalyst, Amber List 15, you are not going to chop it up when you use it in the reactor. So you can actually apply the apparent rate. Just make sure that you can extrapolate correctly if you think about the temperature dependence. So the next slide, warnings about extrapolation with temperature. Right, so let's consider if I am now using data that was published by researcher number B. So he proved that he doesn't have internal diffusion effects. He did some experiments at a few temperatures, right, to find these Arrhenius variables. The pre-exponential constant, of course, gets from extrapolating there, and he's got his slope, so he's got his activation energy. He's measuring the true intrinsic rate constant because he's working in a regime where he's proven that eta is equal to 1. Weiss-Prater is 0.01, whatever. It's safe to say that eta is equal to 1. What will happen with an increase in temperature? So remember, temperature increasing over here. Temperature is now the only effect for now that's going to change my Thiele modulus. It increases with temperature, and over here, because I've got 1 over temperature, this is the direction of an increasing temperature. So what happens as I increase the temperature, I may actually go into the regime where it is diffusion limited, so that the apparent rate constant starts to come into play, and I am going to get a rate that is affected by my apparent rate constant, where not only my pre-exponential constant, so therefore this intercept, is affected, but also the slope. I am going to have a much lower slope because the activation energy is divided by 2. So it means I've increased the temperature significantly enough to move into this internal diffusion regime. So what's the consequence if I now extrapolate my data? So this guy measured this is his highest temperature, right? So if I extrapolate the data to higher temperatures than what is reported, I may actually move into this regime without knowing it. This is the K dash that I would calculate using the true activation energy. This is the K dash apparent that will actually be present in my reactor at that point. So I will get a much lower rate than the one that I anticipate, and I am going to under-design my reactor. And let's consider the scenario where The first researcher actually said, all right, I am going to measure with a 1 millimeter amberlist particle. I know you are not going to chop it up in your reactor, so you are going to use it as is. You better use the apparent rate data, because I know that rate in that catalyst particle is severely going to be inhibited by diffusion. I prove that and I measure that in the temperature range over here. This is the temperatures that I consider: very high temperature, very low temperature. You are now using that, but you want to operate your reactor at a much lower temperature over there. So if you extrapolate along that line, notice what happens. Because of that reduced slope, you will actually say this is my apparent rate constant that is going to be active in my reactor. And can you see that it is actually higher than the constant you would have if you extrapolate it with the true activation energy in that region. So if you extrapolate this one to colder temperatures, once again, if you use this value, you are not going to calculate the correct volume in your reactor, because you are going to overestimate your rate constant. Another thing to remember, if the data was published in this regime where it is diffusion limited, is the fact that not only my pre-exponential constant will change if I change the particle diameter. The slope will stay the same, because that is not affected by the particle diameter. That is activation energy divided by 2. But because this variable shifts, because with a change in particle diameter, I will see that the point where I can expect this regime transfer to happen will also move to a lower and a lower temperature. So for I would like you to try to figure out whether dP1 is the small particle or the larger particle between dP1 and dP3, to make sure that you actually understand this slide. So I realize the discussion on the previous slide can be really hectic. I want you to spend some time with it to make sure that you understand it. It is the principle on which that 5.4 is based. And in order to make sure that you understand, I want you to prepare this page, the questions on this page, as an online test. I'm going to ask you to hand in the graph that you must generate by reading through all these questions to make sure that you understand. So this will be deployed as an online test. I will make an announcement as to which one it is and how you need to submit your resultant figure.